so that's what's replacing Adventures. Let's take a look at it. Oh boy, the overjoyous TrackMaster push-along range. Everyone loves it, don't they? Not exactly. So of course, this is what's replacing Adventures. So anyway, I'm just going to examine the box and just show you guys, because I really don't think I haven't really seen anybody actually review and unbox these TrackMaster engines. So anyway, yeah, let's just go ahead and open it. So yeah, I'm gonna stand up behind, so I'm sorry if you see a little bit of my shadow anywhere. So yeah, I'm gonna open it from the underside of the box, because I like to preserve these boxes, and after I hang them up on my wall. Okay. So let me go ahead and take a look at the box first. So of course, it does look a lot like the TrackMaster box that you'd see. So however, actually, I can see if I can go grab the TrackMaster box that I have. Okay. Here is the TrackMaster Rebecca box. So, of course, you can still see that it does have the age range here in, like, the dark red area right here where the name is. So instead, the name is up here on the, above the engine, of course, and, it does look pretty different from the, Thomas & Friends Adventures box, of course, design-wise and everything like that, because, the Thomas Adventures box are more, like, greenish yellow, and then they were redesigned to where they were mostly green and like this cloud sky blue color. So yeah. Anyway, on the back here, excuse me, it looks like they're being released in waves, because the first 5 that were released that are across every target so far that I've seen these in are Thomas, Harold, Ashima, Kevin, and Percy. And of course, Thomas, Harold, Ashima, and Kevin on the back of the box. And, well, it does say TrackMaster up here, and push along, and metal engine. So, yeah, it's definitely different. But the question is it different good or different bad? So, of course, the in-hand appraisal here, of course, this Percy smells like fresh paint. That's the first thing I say, is that he smells like fresh paint. So, he does have a TrackMaster coupling, which is, really weird, almost. It's really weird. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of, yeah, something fell off. But, another thing is that, of course, he does have the same coupling back here, because this part's plastic. However, it does feel considerably heavier than a Thomas & Friends Adventures engine, which I have a Thomas Adventures Percy right here, which we can compare and contrast with. So, of course, both of them have untainted buffers, but it looks like proportion-wise, Adventures Percy is a little bit better. Of course, the TrackMaster push-along can connect to Adventures, and of course, because it has TrackMaster couplings now, it can, of course, connect to a TrackMaster model itself. So, yeah. With the spinning Adventures coupler, it's kind of hard to connect, but it does. So, right here, I have a TrackMaster Thomas shell. So, yeah, let me just try to connect those. It's kind of hard to connect through camera, but it is possible. So, yeah, that's pretty strange, to say the least. So, yeah, I do like that they're kind of integrating brands a bit more. However, I think they should have just stuck to the Superstation and just kind of just sell Superstation Track. So that's one thing. And the TrackMaster Thomas fell off the table, so that's just wonderful. Anyway, I do have a couple of tests here for this Thomas & Friends push-along Percy. So anyway, size comparison, of course, it is almost the same. We can see, however, that the push-along is maybe a centimeter or 2 longer than the Adventures model as well. It definitely has a wider wheelbase, and yeah, it still looks like they're being held in by rivets, however, and the back coupling is now a part of the mold. So It kind of reminds me a lot of the turbo and hyperglow engines. So of course, first test, I have a piece of TrackMaster track here. And yeah, it runs on TrackMaster track. That's really cool. So yeah, it's a little weird, but it's still pretty cool. Now, what I think this would be best for, if they made more narrow gauge engines, which they aren't, they're only making Victor and Luke. Well, if they were to make more, then this would definitely be a good idea for dual gauge track. So I will definitely be getting the narrow gauge engines in this range, and I think it would look pretty cool if there were dual gauge track on my railways. So yeah. Anyway, now we do have 3 brands, however, that can go on TrackMaster track. So TrackMaster track really is the one and all, I guess, in track brands. So of course, we have the wood and wooden railway, which of course they both work on the TrackMaster track. Of course, there's obviously TrackMaster, which works on its own track. And, well, we now have this TrackMaster push-along, which is basically just adventures, so, yeah. But, however, it does work. It is considerably heavy, as I said before, and I do think it's pretty cool. However, the main thing I wanted to test was, well, does it work on Adventures track? So I have a couple of pieces of Adventures track here, and yes, it does. So, this TrackMaster push-along also works on Adventures track, 100%, so that's the main thing I wanted, because I will be buying these to use with my Adventures items. I will be buying, like, Paxton and Rebecca, basically characters who weren't in Adventures, because these are pretty much the same scale. So, I have one last test before I close up the video, and it is, of course, does it work on Wooden Railway? Now, of course, this isn't Wooden Railway brand track, but of course it's just like Brio and everything like that. And, yes, it does. That is really cool. It works on Thomas Wooden Railway, too. And I'm guessing it works on wood, but I don't have a piece of it with me. But, yeah, overall, TrackMaster Push-Along really isn't too bad. If you can get past the wide wheelbase and, of course, the bigger wheels, which don't look the best, but, yeah. Still, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a spectacular day. Anyway, Max and Monty 15 and 16, signing out.